Welcome to BioVivacious. As you know, BioVivacious is a YouTube channel dedicated to clearing fundamental concepts in biochemical studies. Welcome once again. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic in fatty acid metabolism, that is about ketone bodies. You would have heard about ketone bodies. People who are suffering from diabetes mellitus talking about ketone bodies. So therefore, ketone bodies, it has got its own advantage as well as disadvantages. Let us look at how the ketone body formation occurs. So in order to understand the ketone body formation, let us first of all look at the beta oxidation which we have learned in another video. At the end of beta oxidation, so we began with the fatty acid. So in beta oxidation, so what happens is plenty of acetyl-CoA is produced. Okay, plenty of acetyl-CoA. For example, a 16 carbon palmitic acid will give 8 acetyl-CoA. So we should know that 8 coenzyme A is trapped there. That is an important aspect. Look at the fate of acetyl-CoA. So this acetyl-CoA will enter into TCA cycle. It will enter into TCA cycle in order to liberate this coenzyme A. One possibility. Now to entering into TCA cycle, it requires one oxaloacetic acid. So therefore, for every oxaloacetic acid, you require one acetyl-CoA. But oxaloacetic acid is always in limiting concentration. It is roughly about 1 micromoles. That is the concentration of oxaloacetic acid in a cell. Why it is in limiting concentration? Because it is playing a crucial role in metabolism. It is needed for maintaining glucose level. We have seen in another video that it is used for synthesizing glucose to be converted to phosphoenol pyruvate. So therefore, this becomes a crucial point. If our carbohydrate consumption is less, this becomes the limiting factor for TCA cycle. I am repeating, if our carbohydrate consumption is less, this becomes the limiting factor for acetyl-CoA to enter into TCA cycle. What will happen now? So this acetyl-CoA concentration will increase. When this concentration is increasing, remember this coenzyme A is getting trapped. If it is trapped, beta oxidation cannot go on. So this will decrease. The rate of beta oxidation decrease because there is a definite number of coenzyme A molecules in the mitochondria. So how to liberate this coenzyme A so that beta oxidation can continue? So we need to liberate coenzyme A so that beta oxidation must continue. So in order to liberate, acetyl-CoA will enter into a new pathway. That pathway is formation of ketone bodies. So let us see which are the steps. So therefore, the important aspect will be, we will be using acetyl-CoA again and again in order to make ketone bodies. Okay, so let us start. First step in the formation of ketone body is you have 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA combines together and it forms a compound known as acetoacetyl-CoA. So structure of acetoacetyl-CoA, CH3, this is from the first acetyl-CoA, CH2. This is the structure of acetoacetyl-CoA, 4 carbon compound, 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is catalyzed by an enzyme known as thiolase enzyme, thiolase, and it removes a coenzyme E. This is the first step. In the second step, another acetyl-CoA is added. Okay, a third molecule of acetyl-CoA is added and you are going to get an important compound that is known as HMG-CoA. HMG-CoA This is catalyzed by an enzyme known as HMG-CoA synthase. So, yes, HMG-CoA, HMG full form is hydroxy-methyl glutaryl CoA. So, let us write down the structure of this particular compound. This is the structure of HMG-CoA. Now, remember in this structure, so this has come from the first acetyl-CoA. So, this is the second acetyl-CoA. This is coming from the third acetyl-CoA. So, what happens in the next step is an enzyme known as HMG-CoA lyase. So, HMG-CoA lyase cleaves a molecule of water and it removes an acetyl-CoA. Okay, so this acetyl-CoA is removed. Once that acetyl-CoA is removed, the remaining structure is this. So this is removed, the remaining structure is this. So therefore, this is nothing but acetoacetate. Acetoacetate is one of the ketone bodies. What happens to acetoacetate? Two things can happen. One possibility is this acetoacetate, it will decarboxylase. So therefore this CO2 is removed. Once the CO2 is removed, this acetoacetate becomes acetone. Acetone is CH3, CO, CH3. So that is one of the first thing that can happen to acetoacetate. So you can now correlate with the diabetic people, or immediately after a very heavy exercise, your body will have a sweet fruity smell. That is nothing but this acetone which is being released through our lungs. So therefore, two things we have seen. Acetone can be spontaneously made or acetoacetate. Now another fate of acetoacetate is to convert this to beta hydroxybutyrate. Let us see how that conversion occurs. So this is acetoacetate. The enzyme responsible is beta hydroxybutyrate dehydrogenase. That is the enzyme. It is an NAD dependent enzyme. So therefore NADH plus H plus NAD plus. So what happens to this acetoacetate? It becomes two hydrogens are attached here. So this is beta hydroxybutyrate. Now these three compounds, that is beta hydroxybutyrate, acetoacetate and acetone, is collectively called ketone bodies. Now ketone bodies are, it's a very efficient fuel molecule, very efficient. One of the biggest advantage of ketone body is it is water soluble. Since it is water soluble, it can be very easily transported. There is no complication of transportation like what was felt in the case of fatty acid transportation. It is a water soluble molecule. Heart muscles, skeletal muscles, all will use ketone bodies. So as a fuel molecule, how is that taking place? Let us very quickly look at that. So in order to make this as a fuel molecule, first of all, this reaction will be reversed. So beta hydroxybutyrate is converted to acetoacetate. So now this acetoacetate, it is converted to acetoacetyl-CoA. So therefore a CoA has to be added. That is contributed by succinyl-CoA. It becomes succinate. CoA is added. So it is by an enzyme known as transferase. So transferase will convert acetoacetate to acetoacetyl-CoA, and you know that acetoacetyl-CoA can be converted to acetyl-CoA. It can enter into TCA cycle and it can result into, it can produce energy. This is how ketone bodies are made use by the body in order to generate energy molecules. Ketone body is also very significant for one another reason. So that is as a clinical correlation, what is our regular production of ketone bodies? So regularly, every normal human being will produce about 3 milligram percentage. That is the production of ketone, but that is what normal level in blood. Now in diabetic people, this level can go up to about 90 milligram percentage. Okay, it can go up to 90 milligram percentage. When such high levels are seen in blood, it is known as ketonemia. Okay, ketone bodies are found in blood. Now ketone bodies are also excreted in urine. Our normal output is 125 milligrams per 24 hours. This is a normal output. Now in diabetic people, this level can go up to 5000 milligrams per 24 hours. So when it is excreted in urine such high quantity, this is known as ketonuria. So therefore there is a problem in excessive production. Excessive fatty acid oxidation can lead to this. As you know, ketone bodies, you would have seen, they will have an ionizable hydrogen, which means it will get ionized. In it's the pKa values around pH 4, pKa values around 4. So greater than 4, it will get ionized in the blood pH. So contributing to acidity. So this is what is known as metabolic acidosis. One of the reasons for metabolic acidosis. So therefore, you would have seen now how ketone bodies are formed, how it is utilized for energy production, and what are the complications or the physical correlation of ketone bodies. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. We will be coming up with more interesting aspects of fatty acid metabolism in the upcoming videos. Keep watching.